Hello and welcome to the 2020 OPL Grand Final. We made it, ladies and gentlemen. It is so exciting to have you here. And while I am flying through the air with Spawn and Juves, tonight is not only a victory for one of these two teams, but given the 6-minute highlights reel that we just saw, gentlemen, tonight, Spawn, was a victory for us. It's actually about us, because how bloody good is the OPL?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I say this every single year. Like, I can't picture myself doing anything else. As long as they'll have me, I'll keep coming back to this show because it's just proof how much fun we have every single week. And it's honestly, it's such a joy to do, like, now my 6th OPL final or something like that. It's a crazy good time of year, and I'm just excited to watch these two teams play because I think definitively now we have the two best teams in the league, and to get to see them, battle it out, best of 5, winner goes to world, winner takes all. That's what competition's about.
Juves, did you have any idea that we would be flying through the air? Because I was not informed of this bit.
No, the thing is, I used to be comfortable with flying, and now I'm scared. And we had some pretty bad turbulence before, so. The last time I flew, I had to sit next to Jake, and Jake had to tell me everything was okay, and I'm starting to feel the same thing because there is a little bit of turbulence, and the pilot did jump on and say, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Boeing 747. There is a little bit of turbulence, but that is okay. We'll be on flight, and we'll commence descent in about 30 minutes. Remember to pack up your tray, push your seat tray upwards, keep your chair upright, and we'll collect any rubbish on the way through."
That's basically exactly what... Wait, the pilot said that?
Yeah, the pilot
got all that information? Yeah, right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
interesting. I mean, I would have thought they were focused on flying the plane, but that's good to know.
They practically fly themselves nowadays, Nick. That's all I'm about.
I don't know if you've played Microsoft Flight Simulator, but they do not, Spawn. It is an exciting night that we've got ahead of us because obviously while there are no in-person live grand finals that we could do at the moment, and a lot of you, particularly those in Victoria, are stuck at home right now, we thought that we would take you on an adventure and a trip to the UTOPL. It is the best that the OPL has to offer, and it is the rest of the evening ahead of us. You see the map that will take us on this journey. We've already had the pre-party. We've had the pre-show. We're moving now into the meat of the journey, which is Legacy versus Order, a best of 5 grand final to round out a pretty amazing split and a pretty unforgettable year. And then we will party into the night with the UTOPL after party. If you want to be a part of this, and believe me, you do, all you need to do is join the Discord by going to your Discord client, adding a new server, and adding discord.gg/UTOPL. There is a welcome pack there that you can download that gives you all the information as what is happening tonight. There are a ton of people in there already. There is a ton of chat going on, competitions, live streams, games, events, Q&As. Ubisoft is dislocating something. It is just going to be a hell of an evening, and we cannot wait to share it with all of you. So please jump on board the good plane, the SS UTOPL.
I like that.
It was going so well until that moment.
It was so smooth. Like, do you want another shot? I'm pretty sure we're not live. Like, can we just re-roll that last bit?
Yeah. Hop on board the Boeing L.
I like it. Yeah, that was actually good. That was good. We'll keep that one. Production, let's bring it back to live now. And yeah, get involved on the Discord. Like, that's all I'm going to say. Like, your best memories around esport, like, in video games in general, like, I'm a big fan of this, is like community. Like, everything's better with a community around it. And I think, like, get involved, have some fun. There's also a couple of famous people around, so, you'll be able to see them as well. So it's super, super cool night.
It is going to be a fantastic night. This night and this split this year made possible by our incredible sponsors, that is Neosurf, EPOS, and Macca's. They've been with us for this journey. They're going to be with us on our big trip tonight, and we are very thankful for everything that they've provided for us, for the OPL, and for you, the fans, because there have been a ton of giveaways and prizes that they have been giving throughout the evening, and throughout the split, and there will be many, many more throughout the evening. But before we get to the games and the prizes, we got to do the real games, and that is Legacy versus Order. Juves, are these the two teams that you expected to find in the grand final?
Yeah, I think there was a clear top 3, but I think the two teams that actually ultimately ended up making it did hit the right form at the right time, and they actually found out what works for them. Like, I use Order as a very good example. And actually Legacy, both of these teams don't necessarily play like what's what's the meta, right? Like what LCK are playing, what LPL are playing, right? Like, yeah, sure, there are a lot of transferable champions, but then we see like their own flavor. So you see Swiper on the Scion. We see Tally kind of realize what his champion pool is and stick to those champions, whether it's the Choggers mid, which is the Cho'Gath, the Galio, things like that. And both these teams have clear identities and they don't stray from them. And I think a lot of teams that got caught in the playoffs tried to play what was meta and not what worked for them. And these teams were just rewarded for sticking to their guns and obviously working on their team play as opposed to their champion pools.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think that, to answer that question, at the start of the split, I was on a show. I can't remember which one, to be perfectly honest. It was something with Swifty. And I was on a show with Carbon, and he said, who do you think, Carbon, is going to be the biggest test in Split 2? And Carbon said, well, teams that don't change are genuinely the scariest teams coming into the next split because you have like another 3 months of being able to gel and get it together. And he said, so in that regard, I expect to play Order in the grand final. And when I was asked, I was pretty expectant that it was going to be Legacy retaining their form and in fact getting better again, because I knew that, Tally with another 3 months of a role, he's a very intelligent player. I've spent a lot of times with James, that he would only get better as a mid laner as well. And I think both of those things have come true. So we kind of have the perfect storm of, as Juve said, these teams hitting form at the right time and leveling up at the right time. Despite Legacy losing a coach, I think Denian's done a really great job of sticking to the game plan that was laid out for him. And I think that, both of these teams really do have what it takes to be competitive internationally against the other wildcard regions. So I'm super intrigued, honestly, to see how this matches up, because we got the taste of it a fortnight ago. And Legacy came out all guns blazing, and it looked like they were honestly going to run over the top of Order. But by the end of that series, I think we were nearly robbed of a brilliant Game 5 because Order had a Fire Soul going into the end of Game 4, and Legacy were really saved by Raze, who is, once again, that X-Factor player. So my expectation is this is just going to be an awesome grand final. And, elephant in the room is obviously I have stakes in this race, and I'm actually more nervous about, watching a really, really great game of League of Legends than anything to do with Order tonight. I honestly think that this is the final. I've built it up so much in my head. We very rarely get best of 5 grand finals. Like, Jules will attest to this. Like, OPL grand finals, they're 3-hour events normally. Like,
the
a team
semi-finals
comes in,
normally
just takes care of business,
Yeah.
and just gets out. But I am so, like, my expectations for a best of 5, or at least 4 really good games, are so high. I want this best of 5, like, incredibly badly.
It is true that the real crime for some OPL grand finals have been that we have created segments that have never even been to air because we never got to that point in the night. And it's like all this wasted. Like, I spent literally 3 or 4 minutes coming up with something, and then for it to not be used in front of a crowd of thousands is just a disaster. But Juves, obviously a huge night for both of these teams. Legacy, I think you could argue, are the favourites heading into tonight. What do Order have to do to topple the team that have dominated not just the split but the year?
I don't actually think Order need to do much more than they've already been doing. I would almost say, if you take Game 4 into account of Order from last week, if you say Game 4 is where their kind of their level is at, let's say that's the worst they're going to play, I think they're actually favourites. Because,
Don't do that to me.
Sorry? No, hear me out. Because I think in the Legacy series specifically, when Legacy beat Order, Legacy just turbo won bot lane. Like, it was just non-negotiable. Like, the game was pretty much over from laning phase. Raze even tweeted, like, the game should have been over 20 minutes ago. I was tilted, I ran down mid, but we still won, right? Game 4 for Order against Chiefs was the most solid laning phase and solid game we've seen from the Order bot lane yet. And I would argue that Order in that series won mid-jungle top slightly, not hard enough to make up for their bot lane deficit. Who knows?
Who knows? Well, 2 teams know what they've got planned, but who knows how it's going to turn out. We will in a couple of hours, and hopefully after 5 thrilling matches. I cannot wait to get into it. And also, if you, like us, have shaved in a handlebar mustache to celebrate tonight's OPL Grand Final, then please send me a picture on Twitter at NickBoy, because we want to see them. All right, let's jump into game number 1 for the OPL 2020 Grand Final. It's Legacy versus Order, and it is coming up. Game 1. After the Macca's Champ Select.
Going into this weekend against Legacy, I feel like we've already done it. Like, we already played a really tough series against Chiefs. We're ready, and I don't know if Legacy are ready. I'm not sort of like faking when I say that. Like, I truly believe it this year. I think there's a really good shot that we can take this split based off this weekend.
Well, I teleported in, it was an inch, but I can flash like this, and I can take you out. And that'll be the first.
You just need to be able to adapt in the series, and I think the team that adapts better in a best of 5 will generally take it, unless there's a major skill gap, which I don't think there is this split.
I always just try to do my best, and the fact that we're in finals it's incredible. It hasn't really sunk in yet, but on reflection, I'm very happy with where we are. I think you guys can buckle up, and anyone watching this series should get a few meals ready, because I think it's going to be a long series.
Oh, here we are. Hello, there's the introduction. Here's me, here's you, we're in the sky. We're looking fly, Rusty. How are you, mate? We're feeling ready to rock and roll. I'm gonna introduce this one by just quickly asking chat, you know, what kind of fan are you? Are you a fan of Legacy? Do you want to see the boys in green cement their legacy, make it the perfect year?
It's a funny looking green on that one, Skibby.
I know, it's green screen like you would not believe it. Are you an Order fan? Is it an Order win? Is it an occasion for them to win? Who knows? Who are you supporting? Who are you rocking and representing? Because, Rusty, we're already into the draft to see what's going to happen here.
Yeah, we absolutely are. We're rocketing through this one already as well, Skibby. 4 picks in for the side of Legacy Order. Waiting to see what their last 2 picks in draft are going to be. Let's take stock of the most important picks before we even consider the bans just yet. Number 1 is the Caitlyn is going to be locked in. Blue side first pick here by Order. That's in the hands of Rare. Now, he is usually someone who's well equipped to deal with the Caitlyn in terms of his champion pool, but they clearly have the preference being on blue side that this is what they want to play in game number 1. They've gone for the Hecarim here as well, something that we've seen flexed by the Chiefs to top lane, but most likely going to be in the jungle role, obviously with the Ornn and Azir now locked in. And looking at the other side, Skimmy, you've got the Senna as the immediate response into the Caitlyn, and from the looks of it, we'll be having the Senna bot lane and Ziggs mid lane, so Senna Lux bot into a Kate Morgana. Very volatile bottom lane.
Certainly is, and we've already seen a variation of this in a series between these two teams before, where Tally had the Baron buff, pushed straight through mid, picked up an inhibitor as the rest of the team had the little cheeky 5v5 dance around the dragon itself. We've seen these compositions, we've seen these ideas, we've seen these champions before, so it shouldn't throw any big surprise to the fans at home. But game number 1, it is always a little bit edgy, a little bit exciting, because you're not too sure what to expect. You know, you've had all this preparation, all this work going into it. You're going to look to try and find those standard picks to open up these accounts and just try and get that first game underway.
Yeah, absolutely. So final composition is locked in here. Let's take stock of exactly what we're looking at. We already spoke about the volatility of the bot lane, but let's bring it up a notch here through the mid lane specifically. For Order's side, definitely is about getting leads in bot lane, snowballing through mid lane as well, having a really good protect the Caitlyn style of composition. They've got a fantastic front line in there as well of the Ornn and the Hecarim, and their scaling is phenomenal, right? Caitlyn gets the Ornn items, Azir gets the Ornn items. They're going to be powerhouses once they start hitting mid to late game, but they already have good bridging champions through their bottom lane specifically. So that's why it's a really volatile area of the map. Legacy side of the coin here, you've got your Renekton that's going to be running around for a lot of that early pressure, and then you've got the Nidalee for the hard cleared jungle. Good mixed damage on that side of the map as well, if the Renekton stays ahead. And that is probably the biggest thing for the side of Legacy that we have to look at.
And it is interesting, and I'm glad you bring it up, because it screams to me that Order are saying, we know Legacy want to try and bring this game a little bit later. We know that they like to play things rather slow pace coming into Split 2, that they'll want to try and abuse the macro where they get the chance. And they may be quite willing to sacrifice those first few dragons, heralds, whatever it may be, just to continue the control on the map as a whole. So to have those options to say, well, come late game, level 13, 14 onwards, we've got the ability to make our champion stronger. That is an area of the map to get excited for. But here we go, Rusty. It's the biggest day of the year, the grand finals of the 2020 OPL. It's just a single best of 5 that remains as a year's worth of hard work boils down to this one moment. The occasion has definitely been set here. The opportunity is even bigger as the prize in question for these two teams, a ticket to go to Worlds.
A lot of storied players as well, Skimmy. A lot of storied history between them. So someone like only coming into these finals and saying, this will be my last year. I mean, you want to extend a career like that, right? Send him to Worlds.
That's my point exactly. I mean, we've got ourselves rookies, we've got veterans, players that have returned, players that are poised to retire. No, this is that final chapter and a chance to create history. We'll get to see what it looks like as we jump into game number 1.
Nice little attempt there. Lux Binding, of course, not actually going to connect. If it had, then it may well have been a kill. Especially when you look at the composition that Legacy were running around with at level 1. Lux Binding, Nidalee Spears, then Empowered Damage. Senna could also start that W, and you're just going to be rooted twice in a row. We didn't actually see if Ayla had already leveled that W that you can see on the ground now, so maybe could have saved his own life with a Spell Shield start, but that's not ideal for laning phase. So now, does have the W, does have the Caitlyn, does have lane priority. The one major concern that we're seeing right now, though, is that the Nidalee has been given the bot side red buff start. So while they could force bot lane priority, there's the risk of being ganked at level 2 Skimmy, so they have to respect.
Certainly is, and you can't afford to give out these opportunities to really get ahead as a result. Quick reminder, if you are playing at home along with us with the little competition for the Kraken chest, there is one of your first clues there. Take a quick print screen, save that for later, add up those clues, and as the night continues, have a crack at what you think it could be, or if you do miss out, if you have to go out, then hop onto the YouTube broadcast, and you can always rewind.
That's the one. Of course, we check back in with this bottom lane. As you can tell, things going pretty much to plan here for the side of Legacy. They'll have the push, they'll have the bot side control. When you take a quick look at the top side of the map, however, Topoon's going to fall a little bit behind as he has to concede some resources. Early flash there as well from Isles.
Yeah, flashes have been burnt, both that of Isles as well as Rare 7. Ada actually going ahead. Won some advantage by taking out that healer as well. There goes the fighting, there's the spear, there's the damage, there's the connect, there's first blood for Legacy.
And it's the level 1 bottom lane of Order that is punished. If they were level 2, there could have been a binding, there could have been a spell shield, opportunities to perhaps survive that skirmish. But Isles showing already. Game 1, remember, he's our Rookie of the Year. Comes into the finals with absolute confidence and starts hitting those bindings.
And that's one thing I just have to take my hat off to. You know, you're such a young player. You're being touted as this big player to watch out for. To have this amount of composure in your first year for an organization as esteemed as this, which is achieving the levels of success as well. What a fantastic, promising career this young man has.
They are monstering them in the bottom lane at the moment. And again, if we look at top side, is there any kind of reasonable trade being had for Order's advantage? No, not at all. The Renekton's got the wave coming in towards him. He's trading well against this Ornn. It does seem like it's been an isolated matchup overall. A couple of camps taken away, but really that was just vertical jungling and trading of camps. Things going fantastically for Legacy through the first 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Good start for them, get that first kill underway, give it to Babbitt, ensure that he gets the resources. We've seen that he loves to play carry-style junglers when given the opportunity. But he's no stranger to the tanks as well, going to make sure he can try and get ahead. We typically have seen these AP junglers really rise to the front lines, both the likes of Nidalee, Lilia, even the Evelynn has been sprinkled in sparingly. Just do so much so early on, and they become a carry to match that of their solo laners as well.
Well, Scuttle Crab control also going to be secured here by Legacy's duo lane. They've got Babip on the top side of the map, completely unseen, just maybe clearing some camps as he can. And that really is the name of the game. One of the hardest things to do as junglers is often when you start on that vertical jungle, knowing when to flip the map and actually have camps and be able to continue to farm consistently, right? You'll switch to top side, you might have Krug camps for both respective junglers and say, okay, what's next? But right now, it's a gank.
What is next? It is going to be that gank. The first teleport comes out from the top side of the map. It's Topoon that arrives first, but it's actually Swiper with a better positioning advantage right now. He's going to get collapsed upon 1v3. What can he do? There's a flash, there's a hitbox. He gets stunned up, he's airborne. Here comes Harry looking for retribution. Looking to try and take down somebody as well. It's going to be a 3v4 in the bottom lane so far, but it's still Legacy that are looking to pull the trigger, looking to be aggressive. They're not afraid of numbers. They know what they can do. They know their damage output, and they will force Order to disengage.
Exactly right. Look at the health bars. The fact that Tally can now freely push mid lane. Top's wave is perfect and building towards Topoon. So much experience is going to be missed there by Swiper after that teleport. And then the sheer fact that Legacy just had the health advantage in that bottom lane in what was basically a 3v5 situation. That's a major win for the boys on the red side of the map.
Has to feel good there for Legacy. to see Order trying to be aggressive in the early game, trying to force some way to stem the bleeding to make sure that this bottom lane doesn't get too far ahead. And I think that is one part of the map that we talked about briefly in the pre-show as to hyping up their potential, their ability to carry the team, their shot calling capacity, and what they sort of do for the team as a whole. And we've seen that in glimpses on particular champions. We've seen it obviously in this meta, especially 10-16, the likes of Lux and Morgana are seeing so much love right now. Their kill setup that we've already seen that contributed to the first blood. But then Ayla, his Morgana, I mean, his series against the Chiefs when it came out in that final game, denying just so much of the Black Shield.
Morgana definitely has a lot of potential to deny Lux in general, right? Just the fact that you have a spell shield against the one form of crowd control that she realistically has. You will have to max that spell shield in a Lux lane, however. So with that in mind, you would expect things to be good for Morgana. But level 1 is definitely that known weak point where a Morgana will suffer. If you also start Puddle, then level 2 is weak. Until you hit that level 3 point and actually have a point in every single spell then, you aren't going to be the strongest support in League of Legends. And Isles punishing accordingly, level 1 stepping up, utilizing what that champion does have, putting on a masterclass of League of Legends early in game 1 of this best of 5 series. May have done enough to at least get through what is a pretty hard part of League of Legends against the Kate Morgana.
It certainly is, as you already mentioned. Both had the binding potential to lock somebody down for such a long time and set themselves up for success with a ton of damage to follow. The Caitlyn trap, the center roots, the jungle ability to assist to make it an even fight that was even more in their favor so far. You're going to see that it's going to be Tapoon that gets the better half of the top sides, as he is able to not only find himself a major CS advantage, but also get a turret plate as well.
Only's going to lose a lot of his health to this Drake. They will be able to take that one down, however, still has the smite in hand, so no real health concerns for dying, but is probably going to have to reset unless the honey fruit exists. He's going to be spotted, however, on vision. And you mentioned top lane skimmy. That's basically a byproduct of what happens with the teleport down to bot lane with the way that the waves were set up. You know, Topoon surviving, able to walk back to top, had like 20 CS crashing under his turret.
Here
Suddenly
comes
Top's
Only.
going well.
Ayla's looking for it, doesn't have the binding just yet. There's the black mist, there's the disengage. Disengages into the binding, Ray's in trouble, gonna fall on down. The mist disappears, but the kill threat is always there. And the scoreboard evens up.
And Only comes through. The boys from Melbourne get themselves back on the board. 1,000 gold behind, but a wave to crash. A turret plate to take. And a kill there for the level 6 Hecarim the second he finds that level and gets on the map. Fantastic stuff here from Order. The cost is still high, however. Keep that in mind. The potential from the Rift Herald that was taken by Babip. Turret plate still being etched away in top lane. And with the potential to place that Herald top and break a turret early, I think Order will just be happy they got some gold in their pockets where it was needed.
Good start for them. Only has been such a big driving force, a catalyst for their success. Always a consistency factor for them to bank on, as is their top lane superstar as well. Old teammates really colliding here, Rusty. You know, both Raze and Swiper once upon a time on the Chiefs together. They'll both be searching for that success, that ticket to Worlds. It's a rough situation for them, having been around on the team for such a long time. It's really a question as to who can achieve it, who can really fulfill their dreams here.
I mean, it's actually Swiper with a lot of former teammates as well. Don't forget that he was on the Chiefs with Babip in seasons past. Once again, the bridesmaid squad that the Chiefs were at that time. I believe Destiny was also their support. That split, and he's now off to the LEC. So, does have a storied history, Swiper, but when you play for enough years, you'll find that you do team up with a lot of the top players, and if you're consistently in finals, you're either with or against them.
Is this the recipe for success? Is this the winning formula? Well, it's got them both here so far, both first and second during the regular split, and they'll end up first and second here tonight. That final best of 5 to decide their fate. And as we've already discussed so far, it's a bit of a storied history for this year alone anyway. From the multiple occasions they faced one another, at least 10 times. There's only been 2 wins that have gone the way of Order. It's been a tough team for them to crack down, for them to figure out a way to take them down. But if they do find that recipe, if they do find that ability to swing the momentum in their favor, we've seen that they have the skills to execute.
And the thing is, this was spoken about by Juves on the analyst Sky Lounge, I suppose it would be. The thing that you have to consider for why could Order win against Legacy is, can the bottom lane of Order keep up with the punches thrown by Legacy's 2v2? We've already seen that, if Legacy go into a game, they'll rely on Raze a lot of the time for their late game team fighting. If Rare keeps up, then things look good, as Swiper's going to cop a beating here. I think Babip with intent to summon Herald is the major objective here. 20 seconds on the teleport out of Swiper as well, so this will just be a charge. Maybe even the full turret taken.
They've delayed his recall just a little bit longer as well. Both top laners will have the teleports up very shortly, but that is going to be, without a doubt, the first turret falling of the game. A lot of gold going the way of this Crocodile as well, who has opted for the Blade of the Rune King, not going for the team fight Black Cleaver. No, this guy wants to fight, wants to be aggressive early, wants to sit in that side lane and take any 1v1 that comes his way. Yeah,
he'll have a duelist build. We'll see where he goes from here, as Only's finding Babip. Gets the Gromp at the very least, so still retains his own jungle clear, and that's nice, as he does have jungle camps to run back to. He'll do Wolves, Raptors about to spawn, and then of course the red buff just around the corner. So that's nice from Only. But at the end of the day, every time we've complimented Order so far in this first game, we've said, look at the cost, right? That's just a pickings at the end of what was already a first turret with multiple plates there for Babip and Topu.
Certainly is. And a quick reminder once again, that little image on your screen right now, one of the required emojis, one of the clues really, that need to be constructed all together to figure out if you have what it takes to unlock yourself that treasure chest for all the goodies, laptops, gift codes, plushies, and everything more. Play good, look good, feel good. You're playing League of Legends, not a bad way to close out this year.
I have no idea what that emoji is, Gimme. What would you name that? You know, that's the hard part about this game. First one was easy. If you missed that one, go back and find it, because I'm not going to spoil it. But this one, a bit ambiguous.
What is it? Is it the Goldilocks emoji? It is a very good question, but that's a question that we don't have to really focus on, because we're talking about League of Legends, and that's what we're witnessing right here. As bot lane continues to go back and forth ping-pong style, both even on that CS, despite a kill going ahead against them. There's the laser, but the shield negates a lot of it. Flashing into nothing, but just enough to sidestep what was what would have been a spear. It looked cheeky, but it works in the end there, Rusty.
I mean, the weird thing is he definitely didn't want to flash over that wall, so I think mouse cursor just completely wrong directions. But nevertheless, the spear misses. So they'll be happy about that one. Now going to attempt to steal this one with a binding. Not going to do enough damage as Babip holds that smite. And with the item spikes that you were seeing from the side of Legacy, in Order, of course, flipping to the top side of the map, things going very well here for Legacy through their objective control. But Topu's just teleported in.
Topu just wants to go for this. He just takes out Rhett on his own. Don't 2v1 me. Don't allow yourself to pick this Caitlyn. We don't care. Make sure that if the Caitlyn's available, it is only Raze that gets it. And that has to be the power of the Blade of the Rune King.
And we rename it to Topoon Lane after this one. Blade of the Ruin King Spike, not something you would really attribute to going into a top lane 1v2. But they knew where Ayla was. They knew that it was only the two people, and with absolute confidence just goes in and takes them apart. This Caitlyn, now 0-2.
Tough situation there, Rusty, because every single teleport on the side of Order was burnt to try and make that happen. They were trying to find an advantage, but they won't find it just here. Swiper now trying to even out those odds by taking down Raze. He's slow, he's got heals, he's got teammates to survive, he's got shields to boot. As that'll be their second turret of the game going their way.
Nice flash needed. Only's going to be looking for the engaged Skimmy. He's going.
Yeah, he's already popped that ghost. He's going to go for the ultimate. Locks him in place. He's fling. He's dead. He's gone. Empress Divider's out there. That's going to be a second kill picked up. Can Legacy find any kill to try and turn the tides of this fight? Raze has been zoned away. The Sand Soldiers. Very good zonal defense so far. By the time Topoon gets here, might be a little bit too late. No, Rez learned from his lesson before. He's not going to fall victim to the face shake this time. And a nice little counterplay here by Order.
Yeah, that was a great punish by Order. The thing is, Legacy overstay to try and break the turret. They have the Ziggs W, right? So they're looking for the execute. They get in there and they do get it done. But this time around, Order is there. The reinforcements arrive and it's only engaging the follow-up from Hayri. I think Swiper even used the Azir ultimate wall to knock someone up afterwards. So they are able to get multiple kills there in the trade. And that's very much needed because they were steadily getting further and further behind in gold on average. That's the first real big swing of money that'll help at least keep them closer, get their item spikes. And remember, we are still scaling up on the side of Order. There's the Azir has one full item now. And while the Caitlyn is behind, will still be relevant with AD item spikes. Very much so at the 1 and 2 item spike. And Azir can do most of the heavy lifting from the 2 to 3 item spike onwards.
Certainly will be. As you can see, Caitlyn's already optimized the first item to go towards the Infinity Edge. couple of items, as you say, and really starts to pack a punch right now. But the 3k gold lead that Legacy have, the majority of that gold is found here in the top lane. The solo kill definitely assisting, but the CS lead, the biggest driving factor there. As the gold leads elsewhere on the map for Legacy are far smaller.
Yeah, I mean, most of this game is going to be about top diff. If things continue to go to plan for Top Boon, who's already got the Blade of the Ruin King build. We do have to raise the question on how is he going to go 1v1 against Swipey. You know already that he'll win the war of attrition just having that extra sustain. But what you want to see from a Renekton is genuine just walk at his face and have kill threat. Because that opens up the map so well to give you control of Summoner's Rift. And you would say the one last piece of the puzzle missing is using that top priority that already exists. Oh, hang on.
Trouble. He's going to fall on down there. Did not have the spell shield available that time, and this means that Legacy once again find a fantastic opportunity. They found a kill top side. They utilize the Herald. They'll find a kill mid lane. And they'll use it again. They're going to be the team to hit the first 3 turrets down.
Yeah, before the charge too, Skibby. So full HP Rift Herald going to do the maximum damage to the inner turret. And why stop here? You have a Ziggs with W available. Satchel charge the turret after Herald. Why not break 3 for 1?
The value is incredible. Just like that, Legacy take down 3 turrets in your mid lane and have completely exposed you.
That's crazy. That was like the thing that I was going to say is the last piece of the puzzle was breaking the mid lane outer turret, and now we're at the inhibitor. 17 minutes into this game, that was the most efficient Herald you could possibly find. Crazy advantage now for Legacy, even though it's still only a 1,000 gold bonus that they gain from that push. The map control is absurd.
Insane. And quite uncharacteristic, really, for Legacy standards, because we've been such a big, such a big voice, I suppose, really, as to what they've been doing in these last few weeks, as to how they've been looking to try and slow things down, not banking so much on a comp that needs to snowball early to find these levels of success. But it just springs to mind what we saw as those glimpses in Split 1, which made them so terrifying. That just the early domination meant they were able to achieve so much, and just so scary to think that one kill, right place, right time, just gives you 3 turrets and just unlocks the map completely.
I mean, the potential of Legacy as individuals is really something that I'm seeing shine through this first game, right? We spoke about the early laning phase. We know that Top's got a massive advantage. That's a wave control thing that only he does. Babip in the right place all game has been hitting those spears. And his Nidalee's looking fantastic. Someone to really challenge only when it comes to the Nidalee pick here as well. Something that we really have to talk about. So far, impeccable game number 1.
Same combo, they just run it straight through mid again. This time it's the spell shield, but even then, it is not enough mitigation, Rusty. He is being picked apart and dismantled on a champion that has shown him so much success in the past.
I mean, that's just gross. The champion designed to deal with the point-and-click crowd control. I think we just saw a binded mid lane as well, but Drake's going to go down. That's the first priority here. Rare did just flash to get himself out to safety, so even another summoner spell gained through that. I mean, there's an absolute clinic going on the Summoner's Rift right now in this first game.
It's not looking like Legacy are too nervous coming into this one, I'll tell you that much. They are playing with conviction, playing with a very much coherent direction as to this is what we want to do, this is what we're looking for, and this is how we are going to achieve it. We're not going to allow Order to bridge so seamlessly from early to mid to late. No, we don't want to wait. But all-important level 14 when those ornaments can start to shine, and the likes of both Hayri and Rare 7 can truly pop off. Now, we want to be aggressive. We've got an Infernal Soul to play for as well. That extra damage just means that that combo, if it continues to land, will do far more as the game continues.
And you know one really important thing here that we should highlight for Ayla as well is he's kind of the only person that can safely place those wards at the moment, but because he has the single shield and he is facing down Ziggs Qs, Ziggs minefields, Nidalee spears, and then you've got the Lux bindings as well as the Senna W to lock them down. Like, it's really difficult to actually exist to place vision control if Legacy is set up first. So that's a lot of the current problems that Order are facing is if Legacy, and they do have priority, right? They have top advantage. They've been getting fourth priority on bottom side. They've been using that to fuel the rest of the map for control. That's really what is exacerbating the issues that Order are facing, given that Legacy have the lead.
It's just so tough right now for Order to try to re-establish themselves as a result. Look how defensively these control wards are being placed to try and make sure they're not getting wrapped around. There's no flank attempt being currently poised. The ability for them to sit in those side lanes and play passively, play for farm. It's going to be as easy to unlock right now because 3 turrets in the mid lane have been taken down, and the avenues to find those picks and kills are just so much easier now.
Nice little Lux laser, more crowd control to follow there as well. But the kill threat is pretty low overall, just given that there was no further reinforcements. As you can see, Tally is on the top side of the rift. Just a cheeky shout out for an emoji on your screen there as well, for anyone who is in the competition. But nevertheless, now we've got Hayri responding to Tally top lane. Both having teleport, of course, so as long as they're playing towards the rest of their team, this to me screams topside river control and Baron priority, as both mid laners on the same side of the rift. And now we're in a hotbed for potential danger.
You certainly are, and this could be an invitation for Order to try and get themselves back into the game. If Legacy say we want to go for this Baron, we've seen so many times in these playoffs that Order have found a Baron buff at the 20-25 minute mark, and that has been an area for them to target and take down very early power spikes and very early turnaround events. They'll be looking to obviously try and stem that bleeding. 5 turrets to 2. They'll need some ability to claim back this gold lead, because Legacy currently, they're continuing to build the momentum up by 4k right now, and not really allowing Order to bank on the success of scaling and ornaments to come in clutch here.
Speaking about that though, level 13 for Swiper means it is just around the corner for having those upgrades for his teammates. We've got the 1 item, and while that is definitely non-comparable to someone like Raze, who literally has 2 and almost 3, does have cheaper items, so that will accelerate the Senna's item build. Caitlyn still really can start to stand and deliver and just play utility, place those traps. That is something that Senna does that Caitlyn does actively still provide. And Hayri has gotten close to that 2 item spike. You give the ornaments to these carries, the gold difference shrinks a little bit. It's a very important feature here for the side of Order, as their scaling is a major component of their team composition's potential throughout the rest of this one.
Certainly is, and highlighting those 2 item spikes there, Rusty, we're starting to see those come online here for the side of Legacy, with the Miramana being evolved for the Senna, the 2 items there for the mid laner as well, with the Leandries, the Burning Mask, doing a ton of damage when that combo comes on through between himself and his bot lane. And the Black Cleaver as well now to complement this Renekton. So anybody that gets in this path, be a side lane or in team fight, they are going to cop a major beating.
You know, one big thing here for Tally as well is that he doesn't necessarily need blue buffs anymore, as he has got the fully stacked tier into the Archangels. So planting him in top lane compared to someone like Hayri does survive and prosper in that war of attrition, as being able to throw those spells. And you've got Leandre's build, like you mentioned, you know, the slow poke that's possible. A single Q hits. It's not going to cost anything from Tally. It's going to cost a lot from someone like Hayri. And that's if they continue to plant their feet up there, isolated in top lane. But with Infernal up in 12 seconds, with the threat of Infernal Soul being available as well, you definitely want to try and take this one away from Legacy.
And as much as Order have the ability to poke from afar and utilize their range, it seems to be that Legacy, with this lead right now, are using it to their advantage. And why wouldn't you right now? They're keeping their opponent zoned away. They know they want to play for this Infernal Soul to accentuate this even further. How can Order look to try and target this play?
They're grouped up as 5 right now, and it makes sense. Lots of damage, however. Oh, rare.
So much poke, so much harassment. He got his sidestep so much. He had a flash, but it did not matter. He could not dash out of harm's way there. The second carry of Order nearly falling down as well, as Hayri is on defense. They smell blood, and they take you down. He burns his flash, but too little, too late. Nowhere to run or hide. You're gone. Pound, smash, delete. Swiper, no swiping. Well, Swiper's gone out of this fight. And just like that, Legacy say we don't care about the Baron, we don't care about the Dragon, we just want more blood.
Raze decides to tank 2 turret shots just because he can. Really, he's going to now make his way over towards the Infernal. It is an Infernal Soul, so they are definitely looking for kills before they go for the Drake himself. And rightly so. Much more money now going to the hands of Legacy. Raze with a confident flash over that wall as well. And Babip hitting one of the best spears that you'll see come out of Italy onto that Caitlyn. Rare now finds himself 0-3 and staring down the barrel of an impossible team to deal with.
Now we have seen this already in the playoffs, that they have had a few games where it's taken a couple to really find their groove, work their way into the series, make a few adjustments and figure out what works for them. We'll get to see if they can find glimpses of that coming to a close in this game, as the gold lead continues to favor Legacy now in such a commanding spot as well. You know, you talk about a 5k gold lead, it's always been in their favor. But they're now poised to take an Infernal Soul. Always got the threat of running towards Baron. And that combination of just locking down any key target and just overlapping multiple long-range ultimates, that's not going to go anywhere anytime soon.
No, not at all. And 25 minutes into this one with the Leandros there for the Ziggs, with the Blade of the Ruin King there as well for Topper, and Baron is a distinct possibility. They don't have the strict tank champion like an Ornn to just stand there and take 0 damage from it, but when you've got Nidalee heals, Lux shields, and Senna heals as well, you actually just do not take damage from Baron. So if they ever get an opportunity to look towards that objective, I would not be shocked to see them have a crack. On the side of Order here, it is about buying time, continuing to get those item spikes and scaling up, but even in terms of DPS output, we've gone for the Banshee's Veil as a higher priority here for Hayri. It does enable him to position more aggressively, but his damage is going to be a little bit less. That's something that is worth pointing out. Of course, not quite working towards those ornament upgrades just yet, but we do have the Trinity Fusion instead. Is honestly...
Look at it. Just the 2 members alone, them linking up together, there is so much annoyance, so much grievance. Shredders has to be popped there as Rare decides that the big Mega Inferno Bomb. Max range there is Rage, tried to show a bit of cute little mechanics there, using the ward to extend his Q range. Just wasn't enough there, but Legacy continue to find advantages elsewhere. If you don't take it down mid lane, well, at least we've zoned you away. That opens up the opportunity for me to now take another turret in the bottom half of this map.
Isles doesn't miss, dude. This Lux is insane. Isles is a man possessed in the playoffs. He always seems to pull out these clutch games when it comes to finals time. But this is another level for Isles, playing the Enchanters in bot lane and putting in some serious work. Rare, well, it looks like he could catch anything you throw at him. It still takes a fantastic toss here by Isles to be able to do that, and he doesn't miss. He's always on the mark, and they're always connecting.
But how crazy is that though, Rusty, right? You know, it's a rookie player to have that level of composure, maturity for a team like this, for a position that they're in right now, looking for the perfect year. They've achieved their first title in the organization's history in Split 1. They want to make it 2 from 2. They want to actually get themselves to a World Finals. Sadly, unable to achieve, or able to attend, I should clarify, the mid-season invitational due to world circumstances. But I mean, this is a player that is just showing that he looks like he's been around for years.
Yeah, it's definitely a composure and poise thing that always stands out for me. He just seems to have such an even temperament as a player, which is highly coveted for most professional players in those roles. Still waiting for that real breaking point that'll open the game up for Legacy, and I think patience is something that they can look at. Senna, we've seen already, was well over 60 souls. At this point, you would have to imagine on the way to being obnoxiously high range, double lethality, and the Muramana completed there as well. Their item spikes are coming through hot fast, and with an Infernal Soul in 1 minute, I think that the name of the game here is definitely just play for vision control and pick off your opponents. Rinse and repeat the strategy that has been working for them all game, because it will continue to work. The problem is always going to be, what do Order do to even get to the Infernal? How are they going to navigate this river area? And it seems like this time around, instead of just moving themselves to the bottom side of the Drake, they're going to prioritize mid lane priority, which I believe is the correct decision here for them.
And that is the question, right? Their combo is still very strong if they can land it, but they've just not been given a chance. It's always Legacy pulling the trigger first. Always Legacy finding the opportunity to execute you. Spell should or not, mitigation, even if it's there, doesn't seem to be enough right now. But if Order can find that one angle, that one flank, that one opportunity, the pressure could just be enough. That's going to be the flash having to be used by the Lux very defensively right now. A stopwatch gets burned here by Babbitt. Oh, but the turnaround onto Caitlyn! That's what I mean! Order can try to go at you, but Legacy's damage output is just insane.
Rare's just not allowed to play League of Legends. Order look for the play. They say, okay, the engage is on us. We're not going to let Legacy poke us down and give them an opportunity to make the play, which is the correct move for a team with an Ornn and a Hecarim looking to actually put their best foot forward. But the distance on that engage was so high, they looked for Babbitt, but he has the zone his hourglass and just completely denied now. And suddenly they're looking at a Ziggs, a Lux, a Senna, and a Nidalee, all in possession of Infernal Soul. And that is one of the most obnoxious and difficult things to deal with if you were Order's composition right now. They are well and truly up creek with not a lot of options left.
Certainly feeling that way right now. But what can they do? Is there a final fight? Is there a final tango? Can they dance the dance? Can they try and stop them from going for this Baron play? Baron has still been leashed here. It continues to fight apart, but look at the damage!
Oh my
He
god!
returns and just gets one shot by the bomb. Molten Edge or not, that is not a power spike he is looking for. He needs Zonias, he needs Banshees, he needs Edge of Night, he needs it all. Forget passive stacking, he needs every defense that the game can afford him. Because they find a pick, it's an Infernal Sword, they find another pick, and that's Baron, Rusty.
I mean, that is the warmest welcome to the OPL finals that you'll get as an AD carry here if you're a rare. 0-5, 3 Infernal Souls, and mid to long range damage on the enemy composition. Nothing he can do. Dies, respawns, dies, and he will rinse and repeat this strategy until something changes. But I don't think that's even possible, Skibby.
It's terrifying. Certainly is terrifying. This is Legacy really warmed up to the occasion. They know what they want to do. They know how to play it. And they have so much damage. As you already quite rightly said, members of Order, they can't play the game. Yes, they can go in there with the pressure that both the Hecarim and Ornn possess and showcase, but the fact that they dive in and the rest of their carries try to get in to follow things up, they are zoned so far away.
And they just throw spells at rare off cooldown. The thing is, a single Ziggs bomb connecting, especially a sweet spot ultimate, will basically one-hit the Caitlyn. Senna's damage right now, and most importantly, the range, is game-winning. Order's options are realistically to not let this Baron play out, because a single mistake, while Legacy have the Baron buff, they'll end the game. But what can they do, right? You've got this massive flank potentially there for Only. He's trying to punish if someone comes to mid lane, but Legacy play the correct macro. They play bot side jungle quadrants, and now they're grouped up in a safe space where Only's flank isn't realistic. Continuing to play the game out like this, all it takes is one big skill shot to connect. That'll be lights out for Order in game one.
2 waves are being prepped, and 2 waves are being pushed right now. Stapoon's responded and returned back to the mid lane. Want to find that inhibitor. They want to keep zoning you away. They want to throw ultimates from afar. Ayla this time is so thankful that that did not connect. He is zoned away, and that opens up now a second inhibitor for the taking.
Single skill shot connects, the rest follow as well. You've got your Lux lasers. Here they go, Order, they're desperate. They need an engage of some kind, but that's just a zoning Ornn ultimate. Top-in now comes from the top flank, and Ayla's basically dead.
It certainly is. Max range there. The root will not connect from the center, but that damaged the zone. It is just too strong. Raze can tank turrets and just lift the tail to tail. He doesn't care.
That's one.
That's the first Nexus turret falling down. That's the second inhibit. Just that right now. The Baron buff continues. The minions are flooding their base with pressure. They are running out of resources here, Rusty. They are running out of chances. Empress Divide used onto the next, and Ellis survives. Redemption tops them up. There's the bomb, and there goes Ray's Hellfire. He's burning. He nearly takes a spear, but he runs for the hills, and that's all he'll find here in game number 1, because Legacy open up this finals with a bang.
It was right in the face of Order. They'll be able to end the game. Isles only going down at the very end. His first death of that game, and Skimmy, that's an absolute bagger to come into a best-of-5 series and show yourselves as a supreme display of talent coming out of Legacy. The poise, the composure, the draft, as well as the composition and the way they played that out with advantages.
Yeah.
I mean, they look like a team ready to 3-0. I'll put it that way.
They most certainly do. They look like a team that want to get this one done right now. They want to showcase that they have been the most dominant team this year, and they want it to stay that way. They want the curse of them going into Order to continue to favor them. And with a performance like that, who would bet against them right now? We're going to jump to a quick break, and when we return, it's game number 2.
Today is the NeoSurf Cup, and we're going to be playing against Misfits, so hopefully we can bring home the win.
NeoSurf is simple, safe and secure. You can go to your local shop and get a voucher code and use it online, preferably to buy League of Legends skins.
It's got it! This is deadly! It's got it!
If you're craving the taste of your favourites, head to Macca's for a fast, safe and contactless drive-through experience. For your Macca's run, contact-free, we'll be here.